All right, so look, for years, it's felt like I've lived in a cocoon, a long darkness, a void. In fact, I was inside this darkness, inside this void, inside this cocoon for so long that I forgot it was a cocoon. It felt like reality. And even in that darkness, I still carried knowledge. I still read, I still wrote. I was still talking and teaching about universal laws and the science of self. I stored truths and information like boxes in a warehouse. But see, the thing is, storing the information isn't enough. Hoarding knowledge wasn't enough. Because information without embodiment is just storage, not transformation. And now I can feel the cocoon cracking. This shift came because knowledge stopped being just an accessory. It moved into my structure. It plugged into my mainframe. It became my primary operating system. It became the default perspective that I move from, the foundation of my understanding. You ever had a moment where you heard something 1,000 times and then it finally clicks? Well, that's what's been happening to me. You see, I've said it for years. The universe is mental. Perception collapses the infinite quantum probability waves of the universe into physical particles with defined states. I taught it, I wrote about it, I spoke about it, but now I live it. That's the moment people call the Neo moment or the Christ moment, the awakening. You see, the Neo moment and the Christ moment are the same thing. Essentially, it is the turning point where you stop depending on the physical world, the visible world, because you finally understand that it is secondary. It is an effect, not the cause. And in this shift, you start to put your faith where it always belonged, not in appearances, not in systems, not in material idols, but in the unseen laws that govern existence itself. The mental and spiritual architecture that manufacture what we call reality. This is the moment where faith returns to the source, the all, to the divine current that binds the microcosm, the individual, with the macrocosm, the totality, the mind of the all, God. And when that happens, the illusion starts to dissolve. We start to realize from the very core of our being that this physical, visible world is secondary. It really sinks in. And we know in a deep and unshakable way that the physical is not the foundation, which means what looks solid can bend. What feels permanent can change. What seems fixed can be rewritten. That's when you begin to see the demiurge, which is just an ancient name for the illusion. The demiurge is not so much a monster on a throne as it is an architecture of illusion. It's a self-sustaining network of stories, institutions, economies, technologies, and languages that engineer our attention and lock our perception into place. The demiurge is the operating system of reality. It makes the visible world feel necessary, feel permanent, feel true. And when you see how politics, governments, religion, even the rhythm of everyday life, these are just applications running on an operating system. People argue over the branches, but the demiurge is the root. It is the program that keeps this play convincing enough for us to believe in separation. And here's the deeper truth. If we are indeed a microcosm of the macrocosm, if what we are has been here since the beginning and always was and always will be, then we didn't stumble into this by accident. We authored it. We agreed to it at some level. Because without the veil of the demiurge, there will be no forgetting. And without forgetting, there will be no story, no struggle, no remembering, no awakening. So it's important to understand that the demiurge is the mask that God wears to make this play feel real. And yes, I'm referring to life, the experience of life, as a play. And we are all playing roles so that the all can experience itself in the many. But once the veil thins and you start to recognize this code, the demiurge stops being your jailer. It becomes your material. You realize you're not just a character in the story. You can pick up the pen. You can be an author of this thing. And then the veil pulls back even further. If everything is God wearing masks, if the all is playing all the roles, then how could there be an enemy? Now, not in a shallow ego sense, but in the spirit of the whole truth. Everything is me. Everything is a reflection of the source, which means, who am I to worship if everything is me? Who am I to fear? Who am I to run from or to chase if everything is me? You see, that revelation dissolves the battlefield. There is no other side to defeat. There is only self meeting self, God meeting God, mask meeting mask. The task is not to destroy, but to awaken within the play. So, for all the people who feel trapped in this system, in this government, in this country, for all the people who feel hopeless and powerless, hear me and hear me well. You've been lied to. You've been tricked. You've always had the power. You never lost it. And if you want to get out, the only way out is in. Because every chain that you think is on the outside first started fastening in the mind first. You want freedom? You have to go in. Because liberation begins the very moment that you realize that no walls exist besides the ones that you consent to. You want power? You have to go in. Because the source is not out there in politics or in money. It is the infinite current inside your being. You want evolution? Go in. Because transformation does not start with new laws or new leaders, but with the inner remembrance that you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are a living piece of the all. You want revolution? Then go in. Because the battlefield is mental. And the true uprising begins when you overthrow the illusions within. The only way out is in. Because the prison and the key are both inside of you. And that's how we overcome not just America, not just corruption and exploitation, but that's how we overcome the drama of human incarnation itself. Because this life, with all of its sufferings, illusions, and roles, is also a stage. And the same way we awaken beyond politics and systems is the same way we awaken beyond the spell of mortality, beyond the theater of separation. We remember that the incarnation is a mask, and consciousness is the actor. So, if I had to summarize the stage of my awakening, it is this. The demiurge is real, but it is not the ultimate truth. It is the architecture of illusion. It is the program that holds this stage together. And the truth is, on some level, we co-created this to make this experience real, to make forgetting possible, so that remembering would matter. So now, the veil is thinning, and the code is visible. I know that I am not only a character, I'm not just Jason, but I'm also an author. And I'm not just talking about books. I finally understand that there is no enemy to fear. There is no savior to worship. There's not even a villain to chase. There is only one playing all the roles. So yes, it's time for revolution. But the revolution is mental. And yes, we need liberation. But liberation is not just physical. It's quantum. It's mental. And that's where I'm at. That is what is unfolding in my spiritual journey. And if you are anywhere near this place, if you are anywhere near the same stages and phases as me, just know you are not crazy. You are not powerless. You are not lost. You're waking up. And as you wake up to the truth that you are indeed a microcosm of the macrocosm, how you look and how you perceive everything around you will change. The way you view yourself and the world around you will never be the same.